Hello all, and welcome back to Time to Dice Character Creation, where we make your favorite fictional characters in Starfinder 2nd Edition. This week, we're building the elegant and powerful Sue Storm, actress, scientist, and cosmic superhero. As the level-headed backbone of the team, Sue wields mastery over the electromagnetic spectrum, allowing her to vanish from sight, blind her foes, and even alter her appearance in an instant. But her true strength lies in her force fields. Whether shielding allies or hurling them as weapons, Sue is a force to be reckoned with. So beware of spoilers, and without further ado, let's get started. So, what do we need to be Mrs. Invisible? First, invisibility. Kind of a given with a name like that. Next, force fields, to defend herself and her allies. And finally, we need the power to throw those force fields with force. Sue is a human, which means 8 hit points, medium size, and a boost to intelligence and charisma. Do you have the human stats memorized yet? For our heritage, we take Urbanite, letting us weave through crowds effortlessly and pick out foes who think blending into a busy street will keep them safe. We're going to take Scientist background so we can keep up with the world's smartest man with a few doctorates of her own. Sue has proven time and time again that she is Reed's equal, and she will accept being treated as nothing less. This background gives us a bonus to intelligence and charisma, training in crafting and space lore, and the assurance feat, ensuring our knowledge of the great beyond is consistent, if nothing else. For our class, we're going to go Witch Warper for some serious zone control. This class gives us 8 plus Constitution modifier hit points per level. Sue's force fields make her one of the most durable heroes out there. We're trained in perception, trained in reflex and fortitude saves, and expert in will saves. Sue definitely practices brain over brawn, but that doesn't mean you should underestimate her tenacity. Witch Warpers get training in 3 skills plus our intelligence modifier. So let's pick Society, so we can figure out how to order a pizza on any planet. Athletics, reflecting her training in Judo. Diplomacy, Sue is probably the only member of the Fantastic Four you'd actually want talking to the media, despite Johnny's protest. Nature and Occultism, I don't know which of these skills cover alien biology, so we'll take both to cover our bases. Performance, Sue actually spent some time as an actress before becoming a superhero. Stealth and Thievery, your entire thing as a superhero is getting around unseen. For gear, we can use any simple weapons we can get our hands on, and wear up to light armor, which may make sense. Those jumpsuits may be made of unstable molecules, but I don't think they provide much protection against alien battle axes. For our attributes, strength and dexterity both start at +0. Nothing against Sue, but take away her powers, and she's not lasting long in a typical Marvel fight. Constitution is at a +1. Like I said earlier, her force fields make her one of the most durable characters in Marvel, and that includes surviving attacks when they break through. Intelligence is at a +4. In front of every brilliant woman scientist, there's a bigger male scientist with an inflated ego taking credit for the team project. Wisdom's at a +1. She's definitely the level-headed one of the group, but honestly, have you seen the group? That's not saying much. And finally, Charisma is at a +3. Between being a mother, keeping Johnny and Ben from ripping each other's heads off, and convincing her workaholic husband to actually come out of his lab for dinner, Sue's real superpower is a silver tongue. Hey you. Have you liked and subscribed yet? You should do that. It helps us out, and it tells YouTube that you need to see more of our videos. It's a win-win. Besides, the subscribe button glows whenever I say subscribe, so you should at least check that out. Alright, back to the video. As with most level 1 classes, we have to choose our subclass, and as Witch Warpers, we actually get 2. For our paradox, none of the listed options really fit the character, but with a touch of reflavoring, and a large helping of ignoring extra spells that don't match the character, the gap-infused paradox actually works great. With this paradox, we can throw up a 15-foot radius quantum field within 100 feet, granting ourselves concealment from each creature within that field. It's not full-fledged invisibility, but it's as close as we can get at level 1. We also get an anchor to channel our powers. Since Sue's abilities rely on concentration, we're taking the focal point anchor. With this, whenever something would disrupt one of our spellcasting actions, we can make a DC 15 flat check to continue casting anyway. We also get the intense focus action, letting us take an action to ignore the effects of a suppressed condition or reduce our clumsy condition by 1. For our ancestry feat, we take cooperative nature, giving us a +4 circumstance bonus on our attempts to aid. Sue is always ready to help out a fellow superhero, whether that's assisting Reed in the lab or helping Ben hide from a crowd of onlookers. And finally, we get the bread and butter of any spellcaster, our spells. We're going to ignore the bonus spells granted by our paradox, partly because we really don't get a choice in taking them, and spellcaster builds tend to be longer than martial builds already, but mostly because they really don't fit our character. If you really want a narrative justification for them, just say Reed made an invention that does whatever the spell does. For our cantrips, we're going to get Shield, which creates a small force field around us, increasing our AC and giving us the shield block reaction, letting us reduce incoming damage. Forbidding Ward lets us extend that force field to any ally, but since it requires more concentration to make the field follow them, it only grants defense against one creature. Telekinetic Hand wraps a force field around an object, allowing us to move it around at will. And Telekinetic Projectile lets us throw a force bolt at a foe because we need something that can actually deal damage. For our first rank spells, Carry All creates a disc of force to carry things around, perfect for doing laundry or setting up a triage station for downed allies. Force Barrage throws several force bolts at an enemy. These blasts can't miss, but they don't do a ton of damage either. And lastly, Invisible Item turns an item invisible. Yeah, I feel like I didn't really need to explain that one. At level 2, we can activate our Quantum Field as soon as initiative is rolled with the Quantum Pulse feat. This means we can immediately make ourselves harder to hit, letting us support our allies without becoming a liability. We also pick up the Experienced Smuggler skill feat, making it easier to sneak in small objects past onlookers. Not that we really need it, since we can just turn things invisible. Good luck finding that. At level 3, we take the Barricade General feat, letting us create a larger force field to take cover, boosting our defense and giving us an edge in a shootout. But much more importantly, we gain access to rank 2 spells. Blur grants us concealment for a full minute, making us harder to hit. Invisibility lets us become undetected for 10 minutes. At first glance, it seems like the superior option since it lasts longer, but it ends immediately if we take a hostile action. That means Blur is better if we want to stay in the fight, while Invisibility is ideal for support and repositioning. And lastly, See the Unseen helps us counter enemies who try to use our own stealth tactics against us. One of the hardest parts of replicating a character in Pathfinder and Starfinder is the fact that most characters don't have spell slots. Sue's powers are essentially limitless, so running low on spell slots can seem a little jarring. The Quantum Recycle class feat at level 4 helps alleviate that by letting us use our reaction when we cast a second or higher ranking spell to immediately regain a spell slot of 1 level lower, letting us save off cantrip spamming for a little bit longer. For our skill feat, Quiet Allies lets our entire team use the lowest stealth check when sneaking, reducing the risk of one person ruining the infiltration. Now, who's got the worst stealth in the Fantastic Four? Ben's made of rocks, but let's be real. Good luck getting Johnny to shut up. At level 5, we take the Galactic Explorer Ancestry feat, representing all the time the team spends traveling through space to stop cosmic threats. This feat makes all of our successes in navigation critical successes, and shaves off a day for every 4 days of travel, perfect for a team that regularly hops dimensions. We also get Reflex Expertise, boosting our Reflex proficiency to Expert, making us quicker on our feet. For rank 3 spells, we grab Blindness, because fun fact, if your eyes turned invisible, light wouldn't enter them, meaning you'd be blind. Sue can now just do that to someone else. We also take Shared Invisibility, letting us make multiple allies vanish at once. And finally, Kinetic Ram pushes back anyone who gets too close, because personal space is important, even for superheroes. At level 6, we enhance our zone control with a large quantum field, increasing the area of our concealment bubble. Plus, we can spend an action each round to extend it by 5 feet, slowly covering more ground as the fight progresses. We also take the Pickpocket skill feat, because while the boys are busy brawling and grandstanding, Sue can slip behind enemy lines and steal the MacGuffin without anyone noticing. At level 7, we grab the Toughness feat, because if you're on the same team as the guy who wrestles with the Hulk, you'd better have some extra hit points to survive the collateral damage. We also boost our spellcasting DCs with Expert Spellcaster, making it harder for enemies to resist our force-based attacks. For 4th rank spells, we get Containment, wrap a force field around a target, perfect for detaining a villain or shielding civilians. Fly, because riding around on a floating force disc is just too iconic to pass up. And lastly, Invisibility Curtain, a 60-foot wall that turns all creatures behind it invisible. Shared invisibility may be good for the team's day-to-day, but this is what you break out for the big crossover event. At level 8, we gain the Soothing Anchor class feat, allowing us to regain temporary hit points equal to our level whenever we use an anchor ability. While we've never seen Sue use magical healing in the comics, she does serve as a bit of a healer in the Marvel Rivals game, so this fits with her ability to protect her team. We also pick up Group Impression, which allows us to rally the team to join together as the Fantastic Four. Or maybe just calm down an angry mob outside Ben's door. Whether it's calming the crowds or giving a pep talk to the team, Sue's got charisma to make things work. At level 9, we will take the Adapted Cantrip Ancestry feat, letting us add the Ricochet spell to our spell repertoire, letting us hit 2 creatures with a Disc Force. For a more lore-accurate form of damage, Magical Fortitude also kicks in at this level, upgrading our Fortitude saves to Expert, and we get 5th rank spells. Repelling Pulse serves as a direct upgrade to Kinetic Ram, affecting all creatures within 30 feet, and the Telekinetic Hull lets us use our force fields to move an object of up to 80 bulk. We are out of level appropriate spells at this level, so we are going to go back and pick up some lower rank spells we missed, like Sanctuary, which allows us to protect an ally, forcing foes to make a will save to attack them. At level 10, we take the Quantum Aura class feat, which expands our quantum field into a 10-foot emanation aura around us. This aura moves with us and automatically grants us concealment for creatures that get too close. It's a great way to stay protected while moving around the battlefield, ensuring we remain elusive. We also gain the Full Senses feat, which lets us hide not just from creatures who rely on sight, but also from those who depend on other senses. We can even hide from someone like Matt Murdock. With this ability, Sue is basically untouchable, whether it's on the field or sneaking around unseen. At level 11, we pick up the Fleet feat, which increases our movement speed by 5 feet. While it may seem simple, that extra movement really adds up, allowing us to get into position or out of danger much quicker than expected. We also gain Perception Expertise, boosting our Perception proficiency to Expert. This will help Sue spot hidden foes and react faster during combat, making her even more aware of her surroundings. For our Greater Paradox, we're sticking with our decision to ignore the focus spells, but we also gain rank 6 spells at this level, adding some serious utility into our toolkit. Telekinetic Strangulation lets us put a bubble around an opponent's head, depriving them of oxygen as we lift them into the air. While this feels like a more aggressive move, don't underestimate Sue's protective instincts. She's not afraid to fight dirty when it comes to protecting her loved ones. Wall of Force allows us to create a wall of force. Man, these spells are really going to put me out of business. Scintillating Safeguard provides Sue and her allies with a damage reduction against incoming attacks. This can save the day when facing tough opponents, helping Sue keep her team safe while she continues to support them from the backlines. At level 12, we pick up the Sense Abnormalities class feat, giving Sue the ability to detect magic at all times. With her complete control over the visible light spectrum, this feat lets her sense magical anomalies just like she can control light herself, making her even more attuned to the world around her. We also get Subtle Thief skill feat, allowing Sue to steal things without anyone noticing. I thought the goal was already to remain unseen and undetected, but this feat takes it a step further, allowing her to pilfer through items without anyone being the wiser. It's the perfect addition for someone who excels at stealth, both in combat and out of it. At level 13, Sue gains the Cooperative Soul Ancestry feat, which enhances her ability to support her teammates. This feat ensures that she can't roll anything less than a success when attempting to aid an ally. It reinforces Sue's role as the level-headed, supportive figure of the team, making sure she's always there when her friends need help, whether in combat or otherwise. We also pick up Defensive Aura, which increases our armor proficiency to Expert, and Weapon Specialization, giving her a damage boost. Sue may not be known for dealing the most damage, but now she has a little extra punch when the situation calls for it. At this level, we also get 7th rank spells, bringing our power to new heights. The spells we're picking are Energy Aegis, which activates Sue's unstable molecule suit to provide her with energy resistance, protecting her from a variety of energy-based attacks. Mystic Armor, allowing her to create a personal force field for even more protection in dire situations. And Protection, which lets her cast a similar force field over an ally, shielding them from harm when they need it most. At level 14, Sue unlocks the Persistent Quantum Field feat, allowing her to create a quantum field that lasts for a full minute rather than requiring constant maintenance. This is a game changer, as it gives her more flexibility in combat and helps conserve actions, allowing her to focus on the critical task while still providing support with her powerful field of concealment. Additionally, Sue gains the no cause for alarm feat, which allows her to keep the public calm, even in the face of overwhelming threats like Galactus, who might be threatening to devour the planet. At level 15, Sue gains the Feather Step feat, allowing her to create a force field under her feet, letting her step into difficult terrain with ease and move without hindrance. This provides both practicality and flavor for her ability to traverse the battlefield gracefully. Along with that, Sue's Master Spellcasting feat increases her spellcasting proficiency to Master. For her rank 8 spells, Sue gains the following. Disappearance takes Sue's invisibility to the next level, making her undetectable to all senses. Telekinetic Bombardment allows Sue to use telekinesis on larger objects, essentially turning the environment into a weapon. Ocular Overload, Sue can retaliate when enemies try to attack her, blinding them as a form of retaliation. And Forceful Hand, which can summon a hand made of force that can not only ram into foes, pushing them away, but also can be used to grab enemies or create a wall of force to block attacks. At level 16, Sue gains the Quantum Entanglement feat, transforming her quantum field into an even more dangerous tool for controlling the battlefield. Now, when an enemy starts its turn within her quantum field, they must make a will save or become entangled, unable to escape. This makes her a constant threat, as foes must carefully plan their movements or risk being trapped in her powerful quantum web. Sue also reaches the pinnacle of her stealth abilities with the legendary Sneak skill feat. At this point, Sue is practically always hiding, no matter the terrain. Whether she's in a crowded city, dense jungle, or open battlefield, Sue can seamlessly fade into her surroundings. At level 17, we gain the Too Stubborn to Die Ancestry feat, reflecting her resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. This allows us to return to 1 hit point once per day when we would otherwise die. Additionally, we gain access to 9th level spells. With Telekinetic Tantrum, Sue can unleash. We also gain access to 9th level spells. With Telekinetic Tantrum, Sue can unleash a chaotic burst of telekinetic energy, sending foes flying in all directions, dealing massive damage, or stunning them. Falling Sky can summon a massive force from above, bringing foes to the ground and keeping them there. And Selective Invisibility, where Sue's ability to control the electromagnetic spectrum reaches its peak, allowing her to become invisible to enemies while allowing allies to see her to come to her aid when needed. At level 18, Sue gains the Infinite Magic feat, allowing her to cast a spell even when she's run out of spell slots, twice per day. Now, Sue can continue to support her team and strike down foes with ease, even when it seems like she's run out of resources. She also gains the Swift Sneak skill feat, allowing her to move at full speed while sneaking and avoiding detection. At level 19, we gain Legendary Negotiator, a feat that allows us to forge alliances and sway even the most difficult individuals, such as the Silver Surfer. We also pick up Legendary Spellcaster, boosting our spellcasting DC to Legendary. Finally, with Warped Infinities, Sue can expand the radius of the quantum field to a staggering 100 feet, allowing her to control a massive area. She can now exclude specific squares from the field, concentrating her energy where it's most needed, further amplifying her zone control abilities. For her 10th rank spell, we take Indestructibility, creating a force field so powerful that it grants her immunity to all damage and harmful effects. This is her ultimate defense, a final shield that ensures her survival against even the deadliest threats in the multiverse. Sue's power and her ability to protect those around her has now reached their peak. And finally, at level 20, we get the class feat Quantum Research, in order to get another spell slot for our ultimate force field. And for our skill feat, Impressive Performance, because she's an actor. Remember? Okay, with that skill feat, we may have ended the build with a fizzle, and not a bang. But luckily we have the pros and cons to save us. Our first and most obvious pro is our stealth skills. Legendary Stealth and Thievery, and the ability to turn our entire party invisible. Sign me up. Next, we have so many spell slots that let us protect our allies. From the lowliest cantrips like Shield and Protective Ward, to our 10th rank spell, Indestructibility. I can see why some people would call Sue overprotective. And finally, it's not often that I get to rave about a support build, but this build shines best when it's helping its allies. With feats like Cooperative Nature and Cooperative Soul, Sue is always ready to step in to push her family from failure to success. But now we have to start talking about cons. Sue may be a powerful aid in combat, but her powers definitely lead themselves to more defense rather than offense. Next, our shields have plenty of ways to protect foes against incoming damage, but what happens when a foe isn't trying to damage us? Those AC boosts aren't nearly as good against foes who target our saving throws. And finally, in the comic, the Fantastic Four start to lose powers if they spend too long apart. We don't have to worry about that, but we probably still don't want to go solo. You work best when you have a team to support. On your own, you're pretty annoying to take down, but you really don't have many ways to win a fight solo. Overall, Sue Storm is a master of control, defense, and support. She can shield her allies, disrupt her enemies, and stay out of sight when needed. However, her reliance on spells means that she has to be careful about resource management to stay effective, and she's not as formidable in direct combat as some of the other heroes. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Sue's Starfinder build, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future character builds. Hit that bell icon and stay in the loop, and let me know in the comments who you'd like to see next. Until then, keep those dice rolling, and I'll catch you in the next one.